the Betting Pros YouTube channel. He is Terrell Furman Jr. I'm Matt Perault. We have been here every Tuesday with you guys talking college basketball, and we finally get to the NCAA tournament. The first four starts tonight in Dayton. In fact, it starts in an hour in Dayton between two 16 seeds, North Carolina and San Diego State. That's the headliner for today. Tomorrow, you got Texas and Xavier and another couple of smaller schools battling it out for the chance to go play a one seed and to go home pretty quickly. But it does count. A win tonight, a win tomorrow. It does count, Terrell, in your record. You will be NCAA tournament victor if you win today. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm so excited. This is the time. Buzzard beaters. We get great calls. We get everything. Upsets. Oh, man. I mean, what if, again, it'd be crazy. But just think of that year that UVA lost as a one seed. Think about when Purdue lost as a one seed, how amazing that was. It's not predicting it, it's just watching it happen. So I'm ready. I'm ready for the greatness.
On your bracket, what is the biggest upset call you are making? Do you remember what you're calling?
The biggest upset call, I think, is it Maryland at 4? Or wait, no.
Upset losing?
No, it's Troy. It's got to be Troy. Yeah, it's
beating
Troy.
Alabama?
No, Troy beating Kentucky.
Troy beating Kentucky.
Oh, dude, if Kentucky doesn't play defense, we're going to talk about Troy a little bit later, but if Kentucky doesn't play defense, they're in trouble now. So, yeah, I got Troy. I think Troy has a chance to just go ahead and give us one of those moments where Kentucky gets bounced early.
So I'm going to tell you the backstory to the play as to why I'm making it. So earlier today, I talked to Ali Farouk-Manesh. I was in Oklahoma City when ninth seeded Northern Iowa beat the number one seed overall, the Kansas Jayhawks in OKC.
Okay.
Ben Jacobson, then the coach of Northern Iowa, still the coach of Northern Iowa, best friends with Greg McDermott. They have been tight for 30 years. I have covered Creighton basketball since 2004. The Jays are a 9 seed. The Jays have to go and play the number one seed overall. I have Auburn losing to Creighton in the ultimate homer call that might actually become a reality because I don't think Auburn gets to the second weekend. Bruce Pearl has made it to the second weekend one time in 10 years as the head coach of Auburn. He went to the Final Four that year, but he's been bounced, including last year against Yale in the opening round.
Shout out Yale.
Things have not gone well. Things have not gone well for Auburn in the NCAA tournament. I think they are the first one seed to go down. In fact, certain books, I found it today, you can bet who has more wins in the tournament, Florida or Auburn, at minus 115 on both sides. Who would you pick, Florida or Auburn, to have more wins?
Florida. Yeah,
right?
It's pretty easy. I think Florida's going to cruise, honestly. I think their first resistance is probably in the Final Four.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. I think Florida's really, really good, and I think
my champion. And that's my champion, so I can't fight with it.
Yeah, I think the first big resistance is that Final Four game, but everywhere else they just have too many options for everybody scoring the basketball.
Yeah, I love the depth of Florida in tournament settings. I love the fact that they play 8-9 guys, which is big for a program that just came out. And it's funny because for the longest time, we're saying that winning the SEC tournament, you can't win the NCAA tournament after winning the SEC tournament, given the war that you're going to go through. And I watched Florida and I watched the way they play against Alabama. And I was like, they're not tired. Like that team doesn't look like a team with dead legs. And now they get to basically have 2 cupcake games on their way to the Sweet 16. Yeah, I'm with you. I think Florida's going to have a pretty easy time of it over the next couple of weeks here until they get to San Antonio, and then we'll see what ends up happening. There's a fun bet that's here in Las Vegas at the South Point. Chris Andrews, the sportsbook director, put this up. The SEC national champion versus the field. Who would you take, the odds or the SEC currently favored at minus 120?
Minus 120 for SEC field.
Any team. All 14 teams in the SEC. One of those teams will win the national championship.
Oh, well, that's not fair.
The rest of the team, the rest of the field.
Oh, that's not fair because I would love to fade everybody else not named Florida. If you told me Florida was not included in that count, I would say, yeah, give me the field all day. It's just because Florida's there. That's the only reason I would ever be interested in that. And at that point, I guess maybe that's different ways to find a way to take Florida and get better odds. But I'd rather just take the Florida national championship future rather than all this other SEC or field, because I don't think anybody else in the SEC, honestly, truly, is gonna have enough to complete to get all the way to the championship game and win. Whereas Houston, I think, is way more complete than anybody else other than Florida, and Houston can 100% win. So, no, I'm not taking that one.
That's my final is Florida, Houston. I would take the field. I would take the plus money, and I would take, because I get Duke and I get Houston. So I think you have a far greater chance that the national champion is not an SEC team than there is. I mean, I don't know. The over-under on wins in the first round for the SEC is 8.5. They have 14 teams, mind you. So it's 8.5, which means that's
under.
not great, right? You think under? I think over.
Yeah,
you think under?
Think it might. I think it might
9.
be under. They could have some ones where they slip there.
Yeah, I think 5 losses. I think they go 9-5. I think 8.5 is a good number. I think that they go and have 5 losses. I think Vanderbilt's going to go out to St. Mary's. I think that there will be some 7-10, 6-11, 5-12 type matchups that we're going to see, where we're going to see some upsets, I think. But it's going to be wild. So let's get into tonight. It's North Carolina against San Diego State. You and I are on opposite ends of this game, opposite sides of the bet. Why do you like Carolina?
So I typically do fade the team that just sneaks into the tournament. Everybody's like they shouldn't have gotten there, all of that. But I think Carolina's going to make a run here. I think and I'm really, really fading, the Mountain West, and just the NCAA tournament is just a bet that you don't normally want to make. But also this San Diego State team cannot score the basketball. Like, they are allergic to being able to score the basketball. And I think North Carolina here, where you will have that San Diego State defense really pressure them here, I think we'll see those moments where you'll have a RJ Davis be able to go and get them through the end of the game. Plus, this is the NCAA tournament, so I'm really not worried about laying the number, because free throws are coming at the end of the game. Everybody wants to try to extend their season. Everybody wants to do what they can. Unfortunately, when we get to the end of the game, San Diego State doesn't have the offensive fortitude to be able to come back after those free throws and make that three, make that layup, or whatever it is to kill that spread. So I think that North Carolina, whether this is a close game throughout the game or not, they're going to be able to pull away at the end of the game due to San Diego State ineptitude on offense.
It's not crazy, although San Diego State has played better of late offensively. North Carolina, to me, everyone in that building is going to be pulling against them. Everybody in the country is pulling against them. I think they win. I think 5's too much. You laid 4.5. I took 5. I think you're going to see a tight game all the way to the end. I think this looks a lot like the UCLA game for North Carolina, in which they were 1-point dogs and they actually won the game by 2. I think it's a 1-possession game. Ken Pom has this as a 1-possession game, and I think a lot of it has to do with San Diego State's defense and their ability to keep themselves in basketball games. I can't wait to see how the first couple of minutes here, because other than the Duke games, Carolina was red hot. I mean, like scorching hot, but it was the ACC. We're going to learn real quick about the depth of the conference with this game against North Carolina. You talked about fading the Mountain West Conference, and I get it. People are angry about New Mexico, and they're mad about, CSU won their way in, but, San Diego State got in. How do you look at this San Diego State team in relation to the Mountain West Conference? Same thing with North Carolina in relation to the ACC. So if they get boat raced here by San Diego State, the committee, Bubba's going to have a night tonight. He's going to be sitting at home going, what the hell just happened? There's a lot of pressure on that committee in this game coming up here tonight as to how it's going to look. I like San Diego State to cover. I like North Carolina, but I'm with you on Carolina making a run. I actually think Carolina wins this game tonight and goes to the Sweet 16. I like them.
40.
Yeah, I like them to make a run. I like Carolina. I do like their offense. I just don't think 5. That's too heavy of a number for me to take that. I laid +5 or took +5 with that one. Tomorrow, Texas and Xavier. So Eli Hershkovich, who works for the Lions, came on my other show and gave us the shocker of the day. He has Xavier in the Final Four. What do you do tomorrow with Xavier in Texas? I was like, what? In the Final Four?
Yeah. Big East basketball is back, baby.
Where are you tomorrow night between those two teams, with Texas out of the SEC and Xavier out of the Big East?
Oh, I want nothing to do with this game. You're not. I tried to get there to the window on this one, but I can't do it, because as much as I want to say Texas got a little cooking in that SEC tournament, you go and you play a Big East Xavier who's going to be extremely physical with you. They're not afraid, thinking you're in the big SEC. You got all these teams in. Like, they're going to go in there and they're going to go at you and give you their really, really good game. And I just don't want anything to do with that. I was kind of confused that they were a favorite, and I thought that was kind of telling, and that it was pulling me over to the Xavier side anymore. But Texas has just really been kicking my butt recently, and they gave it to me in the SEC tournament. So I want nothing to do with this game. I'm going to just watch from the sidelines.
That's why I have taken Texas. I'll take the 3 points with Texas, because if I go down, I go down. That's fine. I'll go down with the ship. I faded them 2 times. Buzz Williams did everything he could to lose that game for A&M. And that was his coaching malpractice, whether it be calling timeouts when guys have shots up or just not understanding the rotation of his players. I thought it was a horrible job by Buzz in that overtime loss to Texas. I thought Texas was going to be bounced quickly, and they did not. They lasted way more in the SEC tournament than I thought, and now I'm going to back them because they'll probably win by 30. Xavier probably win by 30 with me backing Texas. So let's get rid of Texas, and I'll take one for the team on this. Wade Taylor needs to be the best player on the court, and every time I say that, he isn't. So someone said got to trust Buzz in Wade. No, I can't trust Buzz in Wade ever. I'm not going to trust him in the tournament either. So they're a big fear with A&M coming up in this tournament. But for Texas, Arthur Kaluma is a cancer. He's a kid who goes to all these different schools, and the teams are always underperforming whenever he goes there. But he, for whatever reason, played really well in Nashville for Texas. I'll take the 3 points. I'll take Texas +3, but I'm not going to be shocked if Xavier winds up winning this game and gets away with it. Guys, you're going to be able to get us, not just today on here on a Tuesday, but we're going to Twitch. We've been on YouTube for a while. Terrell and I are heading over to Twitch on Saturday for our second round picks. It's a live stream as the madness will continue. Terrell, Furman, and I will be live. It's 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific. That's when I have done the Discord channel chat for the last, since September? We're doing it now on Twitch. So no live stream on Discord, no live chat on Discord. Instead, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific on Twitch. Twitch.tv/fantasypros is where we're going to be. Best bets for the second round. You'll hear our sharpest plays, everything coming up for the second round. That's 11 a.m. Saturday morning, 8 o'clock Pacific time, twitch.tv/fantasypros. Terrell, I've never been on Twitch. Have you?
Oh, no, but I am so ready to go in there and ask for subs. Let's go. I need the subs. Give me subs. I can't wait to get up there.
We're going to have that coming up here. All right, let's fast forward to Thursday. First, look, tonight and tomorrow is play-in. It's not the first 4. It's not the first round. First round starts on Thursday. Let's get to your picks, Terrell. We'll get to mine after that. What are you looking at for Thursday in the first round?
All right. Thursday in the first round, Gonzaga. I can't get there on Blue Cane and Georgia and Asanuo. And if they are able to limit those guys, there's no scoring happening on the Georgia side of the ball. And you got to be consistent with the offense. You got to be able to respond to runs with Gonzaga, because Gonzaga's going on their runs. And you can either respond and keep yourself in the game after it, or you're going to let the game kind of get away from you. And so while I do think Georgia is a really solid defensive squad, I think that, again, I'm fading a lot of the SEC teams. And I think that they just went through a really, really difficult gauntlet. We talked about how competitive the SEC was for all that time. And now they're coming into the tournament playing somebody else, and it's going to hit them a little hard. So, yeah, I like Gonzaga here. I think that they are disrespected in the seeding, and they're going to show it. So I'm laying 6.5 there.
I haven't bet it yet because I want to wait for it to go. I'm going to be on the other side of this. So Georgia played really well down the stretch. If this was Georgia from January, I would agree with you. But this Georgia team plays very similar styles to St. Mary's. The same St. Mary's team that beat this Gonzaga team twice, both times when Gonzaga was favored. They were slight favorites in the West Coast Conference Tournament final, but that was a weird, wonky deal, and that's a really hard atmosphere here in Vegas. It's all Zags fans, and it's just, you go back to the whole idea of beating somebody 3 times in 1 year is difficult, but in a rivalry game, it's really there. I want 7. You can search in the market right now. It's open at 6.5. It's at 6 at most books. DraftKings is down to 5.5. There's some offshores that are down to 5.5 as well. The other look you could make is at the total for this game, because Georgia was the best road under team most of the season. In fact, there's still 11-3 to the under away from home. In the SEC tournament, it went over, which is right in line with what they turned into starting in February, where they all of a sudden went over against Auburn, over against Missouri, over against Florida, over against Texas, over against LSU, and over against Mississippi State. I think the over is worth a look here in this game. In particular, 3 of the last 4 games for Gonzaga even went over, and the total being 151.5 is not horrible. And it hasn't moved all that much either. That might be something, it's opened at 151.5. It's either 151 or 151.5. So if you don't like a side in this game, I think you could probably play the over between Georgia and Gonzaga. Game 2, what are you after?
Oh, me? Oh, yep. I thought we were
I go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So for me, my first play on Thursday, I got to pull up the schedule because we're all over this. Let's go. Whoops, that's not right. Hold on. Let me pull this up for Thursday. Arkansas and Kansas. I have been anti-Kansas for most of this season, and I am sure as heck not stopping now. Yes, all of this season.
Well, I was about to say, at what point were you pro-Kansas? I would love to know at what point you were.
I've been anti-Kansas the entire season, and I am not stopping now. This is Providence. This is John Calipari. The Pisons are going to be out in force. The former UMass coach is going to get all the UMass alumni like myself to go ahead and cheer for Arkansas up against Kansas. This number I got at 5.5. It is moving. I mean, it's at 4.5 at most books right now. There's one offshore at 5. I liked 5.5. I want to get as many points as possible on this, but I don't like KU. I think Arkansas money line is 100% live here in this one. Kansas comes off that really tough loss to Arizona in the Big 12 tournament. I was there when Ole Miss hit the buzzer beater to knock out Arkansas from the SEC tournament. I like the fact that Arkansas gets some rest here, not playing, 4 or 5 games in the SEC tournament. They have a chance to get ready for Kansas. And the length of Arkansas, I think, will really make life difficult on Hunter Dickinson. I'm taking the 5.5 with Arkansas plus 5.5.
All right. No, I like that. I'm really, really hoping for the Italian American Bowl coming in the second round. Really, really.
You're getting it, I think. Arkansas and St. John's, you're getting it in round 2.
Bill Self ruining that will actually really annoy me for the tournament.
Me too.
That very much would. All right. I am going to High Point and Purdue because I really don't like the Big Ten. And
Amen.
So here's the thing about this High Point team, and here's the thing about Purdue. Purdue, I think, is horrible defensively. I think they mask themselves on other teams' poor shooting when they have a good defensive effort, and it's less about what they did on defense and more about the other team not being able to hit shots. This High Point team has been locked in all year. They've been really, really good. I went to school not far away from that area. I'm telling you, those fans are going to travel. They're going to feel represented in the building. I don't think they're going to come to the pressure. And I think they can hit their shots. And it's not just the threes. Like, yes, they're really, really good from 3. And yes, Purdue on paper is able to guard the 3. But it's when they're able to go and score on the inside and get to you on backdoor cuts and doing all the other fundamentals of basketball to being able to score inside of the 2-point range. And then that opens them up from 3 because now they're trying to crash down, protect the lane, and it opens up to wide open 3-point shooting that I just don't think Purdue is going to be able to handle. So maybe the Purdue offense muscles them to a win in this game. I don't think it's going to be by margin. And I think High Point's going to be live to go out there and win this one outright. So I'm taking High Point plus the points, plus 8.5. I'm sprinkling on the money line. I think Purdue has a good chance of going down to the Panthers.
Very cool. Someone's asking me, am I going to the Creighton game in Kentucky? I was just in Kentucky. I can't turn around and go back to Kentucky. I would love to be at Louisville versus Creighton. I would love to be there. I was literally just there like 4 days ago. So unfortunately, I can't do it. But I'm with you on High Point. High Point money line. I think they win the game outright. Take the points, but absolutely sprinkle in on that. Let's talk about UC San Diego and Michigan. I watched UC San Diego in person play in the final of the Big West. They don't have any size. I'll give it to you. They don't have any size. I don't care. Why? Michigan turns the basketball over like crazy. They have one of the highest. They're in the 300s right now for turnover percentage. Number 2 in the country, UC San Diego. They're going to turn the ball over. They're going to hit threes. And I don't think it's going to matter about the size. If the ball is coming out of the net, who cares if you're going to rebound? You just got to hit shots. I took the 3. It's 2.5 now. UC San Diego. I think money line's worth to sprinkle. I was wrong both times in Michigan. Third time's the charm. I couldn't get them right in the Big Ten tournament. Let's get them right in the NCAA tournament. I'm taking UC San Diego.
All right. I am coming back to, I don't know where everybody feels in this game because I feel like they're saying that the public is on one side, on another, but it feels very split.
Yes.
I told myself that when I see the Drake Bulldogs in March, I'm going to bet them. I said it a while ago, and I'm going to stick to it. I don't care if they're playing Mizzou. I'm going to stick to it. This team,
Ben McCollum, do you remember where he was before he took the Drake job?
Where?
Northwest Missouri State. D2 school in the state of Missouri. He knows all these kids. He knows he has watched Missouri basketball. This is his Super Bowl. Welcome to the Drake Bulldog Super Bowl is Drake against Missouri in the NCAA tournament.
Oh, and then if you watch that game with them against Vanderbilt and you saw a team that said, hey, I don't care who you are. I don't care if we're punching above our weight class. We can go toe to toe with you, and we're going to do everything that we do right. Your lapses in defense are going to be scoring opportunities for us. We don't need the marquee 19 point per game scorer to go out here and win basketball games. We have a great team aspect. I think that Mark Mitchell does kind of give me some pause there for Mizzou on the inside, but Drake has a guy in Cam who I think is going to absolutely give him a run for his money and be able to challenge him on the offensive side too, not just letting him kind of skate by on the defensive end. Oh, I think that they're going to give them a game. They're going to give them a game. I love Drake plus the points, plus 6.5, sprinkle on the money line. There's a lot of people over the course I've seen trying to talk people out of Drake. And I'm like, no, we've been saying this all year. We like this Drake team. They're built for the tournament, and I think they're built to get them a win.
Yeah, let's see what Sturts looks like here going up with this. So here's my question for the chat. Someone's reporting that Indiana is hiring Darren DeVries. Is that official or are you speculating? If it's official, tell me who is reporting that Darren DeVries, the former coach of Drake, now at West Virginia, is taking Indiana. So if that's official, let me know. That's a significant move. That's a big time storyline for the Big Ten. But I mean, for Ben McCollum to know that Iowa is the job because Indiana also wanted Ben McCollum. So that's a significant situation that comes in. John Rothstein reported it. It's over. Well, that's huge.
Oh,
okay. Well, that's big for you. That's big for your bet here. Okay.
Yeah.
It's scary. I got to admit, because four of those kids from Drake came from Northwest Missouri State. So if they think they're losing Ben McCollum to Iowa, that I don't love that can be a little bit scary on this. I love Drake. I mean, Sturts is tremendous. He is the type of player that you love watching in March, and you'll learn a lot from March if they can pull off upsets. So I'm taking the points with Drake too. I'm with you on there. The other one bet on Thursday that I have is I don't like laying big numbers. I laid a big one. St. John's up against Omaha. Omaha is one of the worst teams in this bracket, and they have got a defense that is just not good enough to be in this field. St. John's is going to absolutely annihilate Omaha. I laid 17.5. This number has crept up to 18.5, and I don't think it's going to come back down anytime soon here. I think we're going to see an absolute blowout for the Johnnies. Defensively, I don't think Omaha is going to be able to handle the pressure. The number is 19 at certain books now offshore. I think it's only going to keep on climbing. I got the opening number of 17.5. I like St. John's big.
Yeah. And, my only fear for those is just, hey, have they, get to a point where they kind of play around and let a backdoor cover coming in or something like that. But 17.5 feels rather short for a 2 seed. Some of those normally 20, closer to 20.
27.
So,
right. Yeah. I think it's like a 30-point win for St. John's.
Yeah, not bad. All right, let me get to a big dog that I like on Friday. And oh, wow, man. I mean, we're going to see. We're going to see what the SEC does because there's a lot of me fading the SEC around here. And Kentucky is so concerning on defense. Kentucky is very, very concerning on defense. And nobody's talking about Troy. And those are the dogs, Matt, that I love to hitch my horse behind because nobody's mentioning it. Everybody's like, nobody had that team. And I'm like, well, wait. First of all, everybody made it to the field for a reason. And Troy's actually pretty solid. I think Troy has the offense that they're going to be able to take advantage of Kentucky's defensive lapses. and keep themselves in this game. And if Kentucky even gets away with the win, they're not in good form. They almost blew that game to Oklahoma. They almost blew the game to Mizzou. They did everything they could to blow the game to Mizzou. Everything they possibly could. So I am not backing a Kentucky team laying double digits that I think is in horrible form right now that can't defend. So I like Troy. I like Troy with the points. I'm sprinkling on the money line because if Troy wins this game outright, I need to be able to have the validation to say that I called it.
Fair. CJ's in the chat asking about extra place for tonight. Yeah, sorry, this is different than normal, what we normally do. I'm on St. Francis +4, and I'm on San Diego State +5. Terrell's on North Carolina laying 4.5. So if you want action for the games that are about to get started, those are the games. Yeah, Adam, we already did talk about UNC earlier, so you can rewind and hear us break down. I'm on San Diego State. Terrell's on North Carolina tonight, so you can take your pick which one you want to follow with us or fade, whatever you want to do here with this. Guys, have you entered our NCAA Tournament Pick'em contest? You got to do it, like right now. If you think you know college hoops, take your bracket knowledge to the next level with the brand new NCAA Tournament Pick'em contest sponsored by FanDuel. Pick your winners or make your predictions against the spread all tournament long for a chance to win up to $1,000 in FanDuel DFS credits. You can win signed jerseys and free annual BettingPros subscriptions. The best part, it's completely free. Enter right now at bettingpros.com/contests. I don't have much going on Friday, except that I am taking Colorado State to make the Sweet 16 at +400.
Okay.
So I think that they win their game. I don't want to play around too much with their point spread up against Memphis, because I do think that's going to be a very tight game. They're favored. They're the only 12 seed favored over their 5. Memphis could be down 2 point guards, not one, but their starter and their backup. I talked to Ali Farouk-Manesh, as I mentioned, the associate head coach under Nico Medved for Colorado State today. He said they're preparing as if Memphis is going to be completely healthy. They're not falling for it. He said they're going to completely be ready to go with a game plan to see a healthy Memphis team. They're not going to see a healthy Memphis team, in my opinion. But I think the defense for CSU, they're one of the hottest teams in the country. They've won 10 games in a row. And even though Terrell hates the Mountain West Conference, I live in Mountain West Conference territory. I've watched a lot of the Mountain West. CSU was not nearly as bad. I'll give you some of that, like UNLV and the Nevadas of the world. I'll give it to you, Terrell, that the conference stinks. But I think there's some teams to look at. And the fact that Ali last year was part of the team that was sent to Dayton, the games tonight, and they got run ragged. They won their game in Dayton, then had to go play Tennessee, and they got killed in the first game because they literally landed at 3 a.m. the day before the game, and they were all just exhausted. This time they're playing in Seattle. Calm, cool, collected. They got their stuff together. I think CSU is going to make a run here. Clifford is a lottery pick. I would agree to Juice. Clifford's a tremendous player for them. I think that they wind up going to the Sweet 16. They not only win in their first game against Memphis, they beat Maryland coming up in the second round, coming up there for them.
And so that's what I did with that, actually. I just wanted to fade Maryland. And so I had Maryland at, well, it was +130 odds for Maryland not to make the Sweet 16. I just felt like that wasn't going to happen. But when I did the math, I was like, oh, wait, I actually get some more money because I'm split. I think Memphis might get up for that spot. There's a possibility Penny Hardaway uses that, hey, you're a 5 seed and an underdog as a strong mentality and gets them up for that game.
Fair.
So I said, let me just split my half unit on Colorado State and Memphis. Memphis is like +490.
Yep.
And both of those were better than if I just put the whole unit all the way on Maryland. So I hedged a little bit, but
I like that.
I'm just fading Maryland because I don't think Maryland is a Sweet 16 team at all. They don't have the depth. And
Kevin, I mean, look, Kevin Willard could lose to Grand Canyon. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
No, yes, they could 100% lose to Grand Canyon.
to lose that basketball game.
I'm on Grand Canyon +10.5. I think, yeah.
I know I'm going to be doing moneyline parlays on Friday. I know that there's a bunch of lines I don't like, but teams to win. Like I very much believe that St. Mary's is going to beat Vanderbilt. I think Oklahoma is going to beat UConn. I'm not putting it beyond Grand Canyon to beat Maryland on this. You like Troy to beat Kentucky.
Oh man, dude, that's going to be the call of the year. Oh,
I don't think it's that crazy. I really don't. I mean,
I can see it.
Troy kids their entire athletic department is filled up with kids that wanted to go play in the SEC and either couldn't qualify academically or weren't recruited. like the biggest chip on the shoulder of Troy basketball players going to play Kentucky. Okay. DeVries to Indiana is now official. I'm getting the text messages from people. DeVries to Indiana. Wow, that is unbelievable. He leaves West Virginia for Indiana. He's doing the
West
Steve
Virginia
Alford.
just had that was a hard year, man. Hard year for Indiana. DeVries was good.
That's tough.
I mean, for West Virginia, DeVries was good. He was really good.
That's a huge hire for Indiana, and it's a huge miss for Iowa because Darren DeVries is Iowa royalty. His brother played at the Lions. The DeVries last name in Iowa is synonymous with high school and college excellence for sports. So he would have gone back, but all reports are that the Iowa NIL situation is just an absolute dumpster fire, and Indiana's got money to burn right now. And look, if you can get Indiana back on the national stage, you can do whatever you want in the sport of basketball, like literally whatever you want in the sport of basketball. So huge hire for Indiana, monster get. And really now the carousel starts to spin. Remember, West Virginia turned down all postseason invitations after being left out. Their governor went public, flipped out on the committee, yelled and screamed. You want to talk about pressure tonight? North Carolina better perform tonight, Terrell. If they look horrible tonight, there's going to be a lot of people under tables tonight going, oh my goodness gracious. Yep. What did we do by putting North Carolina into this bracket?
Yeah.
Tell us about Fast Break Bets, Terrell. What do people see when they tune in each and every weekday to watch Fast Break Bets?
Oh, you see this beautiful mug over there talking about everything basketball that I can. And we're getting to that point where basketball has run everything. Last bit of college finishing up. Then we got the NBA playoffs. WNBA is going to be back around the corner. That's going to get us through the summertime. Basketball's year round. And so I'm always here to talk about it. Betting every single weekday over there at Fast Break Bets.
Now, you guys normally hear me on the Daily Juice, and you're going to get it tonight. But Terrell and I aren't done, okay? So the Daily Juice, you can throw that up there. It's fine. You can throw that. Daily Juice every day, Monday through Friday, 365 in your inbox. Bets on everything. We've done a ton of NBA player props. We've wound up 38-15 over the last 3 months on NBA player props. It's been great because my college basketball betting has been equally as bad. So that's not been great on that. But we're not done. The live stream's done. But Terrell and I aren't done. We're going to head to the BettingPros app. If you load the BettingPros app, on the top right-hand corner, there's a little like chat icon. It looks like a thought bubble. If you click on that, Terrell and I are going to go over there and do an Ask Us Anything for 30 minutes, taking whatever questions you might have. A question like from CJ Davis, how do you buy a Daily Juice hat? Very easy. Go to bettingpros.com/shop. bettingpros.com/shop, and you will see not just Daily Juice gear. You'll see Betting Pros gear. You're going to see Fantasy Pros gear. It's all right there in our store at bettingpros.com/shop. So you can ask all those questions. You can ask us about the hiring carousel. You can ask us about Fast Break Bets. Talk about, are the Suns dead? Are the Lakers going to win the West? Are the Celtics going to be pushed by the Cavaliers? Whatever you guys want. Ask us anything. Addison, don't ask me F1 questions. We're not doing F1 today, Addison. Come on, my friend. Don't kill me with F1. F1 at all times.
Oh, man.
F1.
Oh, I love a guy that knows his audience. Yeah.
Oh
hey,
God.
Shout out to you, Addison. Please come with the F1 questions.
Yikes. Join Terrell and I on the Betting Pros app for the next 30 minutes, starting in 1 minute from right now. We're back next Tuesday, but don't forget Saturday on Twitch. That's where we'll be on Saturday at 11 a.m. for our first ever Twitch live stream for the second round of the NCAA tournament. He is Terrell Furman. I'm Matt Perault. We'll talk to both of you guys, or all you guys, coming up on the Betting Pros app starting right now here for Tuesday.